Picture yourself standing in the ancient Egyptian desert where the scorching sun blazes and the cries of newborn infants echo through the darkness. A cruel decree from Pharaoh commands the slaughter of every Hebrew boy. Yet in that shadowed night, courageous women kindle a flame of hope. Shiphrah, Puah, and the nameless midwives, unsung women of the Bible, dare to defy power to protect life. Their untold story is a testament to bravery and faith. How did they overcome fear to deliver divine justice? Join us to uncover this stirring journey. Don't forget to follow the channel to catch more inspiring spiritual stories. Let your heart be ready for a voyage of grace and redemption. Beneath the blazing sky of the Egyptian desert, where hot winds whistle through endless dunes and sunlight scorches as if to melt all beneath it, a group of women quietly undertake a sacred mission along the northern banks of the Nile, where sweet water seeps through barren soil. They are not majestic queens adorned with golden crowns, but humble midwives, their lives bound to birth and hope. Among them, Shiphrah stands out, her eyes sharp as a blade, her heart steadfast against any trial. Her face etched with resilience, holds lips pursed with worry, yet radiates faith's light. Beside her, Puah, younger, with still tender shoulders but eyes brimming with resolve, offers a warm smile whenever a new life enters the world. Though her hands tremble at news of Pharaoh's cruel decree, she stays calm, trusting in a divine force greater than fear. Other midwives, unnamed in history, are seasoned mothers and sisters, shouldering families with enduring faith across generations. They hail from riverside villages, where fertile land belies the Hebrew people's burden under slavery's yoke and brutal edicts. The scene around them is a harsh study in contrasts. On sturdy stone quays, small boats dock, laden with grain, fruit, and goods from southern Egypt. Yet nearby, in riverside hamlets, the crack of whips on Hebrew laborers' backs fails to silence their cries. Families crowd into flimsy reed huts, mud brick walls too weak to hold warmth against night's chilling winds. Each birth, each infant's cry, once welcomed as creation's gift, now flickers like a candle in a gale, fragile and imperiled. For Pharaoh, enthroned in arrogance, has issued a ruthless decree. Every Hebrew boy must be destroyed at birth. The court's rationale is fear that the Hebrews, growing numerous, might rise against Egypt's might. This edict, a keen axe, cleaves through peaceful lives, threatening to erase a future, burying the hopes of countless families. Amid this brutal tableau, Shiphrah, Puah, and their companions feel the weight in every breath. They know each passing moment holds the fate of innocent lives on the edge of a tyrant's blade. Failure to act could mean hundreds, thousands of infants silenced before their first cry. They vow their work is more than aiding mothers in labor. It's preserving a nation's future. In each woman's heart, faith's flame burns fiercely. They don't merely deliver babies, they cradle hope, shield belief, defying the dangers closing in. Injustice presses heavily on their shoulders. Entering a cramped hut, hearing a mother's choked sobs under the weight of dread, Shiphrah's anger surges. She asks herself, how can innocent lives be crushed for political gain? The fragile infants in their mother's arms are vivid proof of creation's fierce vitality. These women, though unarmed, wield faith and courage as an invisible sword, strong enough to resist oppression. With every step, they hear a whisper from their soul's depths. We cannot let darkness swallow divine light. The serene Nile, its ripples glinting under green palms, seems a haven, but hides painful secrets. Beneath its calm surface, deftly woven baskets are placed, ready to carry newborn boys adrift if desperate times demand, hoping for a kind hand's rescue. Yet even the Nile, with its gentle flow, cannot wash away the stain of this cruel decree. Instead, it becomes a paradox, a source of life, yet a place of unrelenting fear. Shiphrah's small, earnest prayers rise each morning. Before entering a cramped hut, she closes her eyes, mourning the lives about to begin. She pictures their tender faces, yearning to hold, to protect. But as the hut's door creaks open, terror crashes in. A mother's panicked gaze meets hers, a sweat-soaked reed mat beneath. Pua, beside her, feels the same crushing weight. She recalls her younger sister's golden hair back home, stirring memories of family and lost peaceful days. But before them looms a greater duty, safeguarding hundreds of lives, knowing each choice risks their own in a life or death gamble. The nameless midwives in their own way weave a thread of hope. They wear no regal cloaks, only calloused hands, hearts full of love and unshakable faith. They become beacons shining in a sea of dark injustice. Each birth is a fresh trial, hearing a first cry, yet waging a battle to snatch life from the court's brutal grasp. They know if Pharaoh's soldiers discover the cost isn't just a hangman's noose, but a chilling spectacle to cow others. Yet they give their all, like a small, stubborn flame refusing to yield to savage darkness. The clash between a ruthless decree and human conscience reminds us that even in the darkest times, people can choose righteousness. Ancient Egypt, with its harsh power structure, seemed to crush all hope, but it couldn't break the resolute hearts of women who dared defy. They refused to be silent before injustice. Each step they took on the Nile's hot sand was an unfinished vow, a testament to undiminished love and faith. The story of Shiphrah, Pua, and their unnamed allies isn't just a tale of the past. It echoes choices between right and wrong in today's world. In our time facing injustice, we can follow their path. Let faith guide us. Act boldly to protect future seedlings. Their journey proves a small group with steadfast hearts can wield immense power, making a mighty dynasty falter. The cruel decree, though steeped in sweat-soaked reeds, couldn't quench the smoldering fire of justice in these women's souls. For they knew that even a faint spark can shatter darkness, and hope's light will guide a nation toward freedom and dignity. As Pharaoh's cruel decree spreads like a raging whirlwind, every infant's cry in the Hebrew villages becomes a gust of warning. Along the Nile, where reed huts huddle amid vast wheat fields, the Hebrews, already enduring grueling labor under relentless whips, now tremble for their newborns' futures. In this dire moment, the midwives, once quiet figures tending to births, emerge as the front line in a battle to preserve life. They wear no iron armor, wield no swords or shields, but carry skilled hands, compassionate hearts, and an unshakable faith in a divine power. Shiphrah, her sharp eyes and resolute bearing, feels waves of fear surge within her each time she enters a tattered, weed-roofed hut. The air inside is damp with straw's scent, a few flickering oil lamps casting uncertain light. revealing the etched worry on a young mother's face. When hoofbeats pound the stone-paved road outside, Shiphrah's heart skips a beat. She knows each step of Pharaoh's soldiers brings peril to innocent lives. Though fear gnaws at her, Shiphrah never wavers. Her inner strength, forged by the belief that life is the most precious gift, refuses to let ruthless power stain infant blood. The decree's shadow haunts her, prompting questions. Should she bow to the command, or heed her soul's call to protect boy barely drawing their first breath? Behind her Pua, younger, her sleek hair falling past her shoulders, offering warm smiles to comfort mothers during birth, grapples with gnawing dread. In a silent hut, filled only with the creak of a cradle, a mother's panting, and a newborn's heavy first breaths, the sudden rap of soldiers' boots shatters the calm. The oil lamp's dim glow casts eerie shadows, twisting Pua's silhouette like a specter on the worn clay floor. She recalls a fleeting dream, the Nile ablaze under sunlight, a sign of grace and hope. That vision spurs her to swiftly wrap the infant in thin cloth, tucking him into dry straw in the hut's corner. As the soldier's sandals clatter past, her heart trembles but holds firm to her sacred duty, shielding a fragile future with a spark of light. Not only Shiphrah and Pua, but other nameless midwives face heart-wrenching moments. Among them is a young woman, fondly called Miriam by some. She once broke into bitter tears, forced to lie that a newborn died at birth, to deceive inspecting soldiers. Her trembling hands clutching a water cup, her unstoppable tears reveal the agony of hiding truth to save a boy whose soul she cherishes. She knows each lie, each frantic concealment under makeshift curtains, risks instant death if discovered. Yet her sharpening cunning helps her and her peers devise secret signals to warn of Pharaoh's patrols. Their exchanged glances, subtle gestures, speaking volumes, form an invisible shield guarding hundreds of tiny lives. The initial conflict isn't just about saving innocent babies, but a silent war between human conscience and brutal authority. It's an untold story of biblical women, nameless yet capable of shifting a people's destiny. In Egypt's darkness, they are flames guiding the Hebrew community to believe hope endures. Facing tyranny, they refuse to retreat. Each birth demands they deliver a child while guarding its secret to protect it. Their challenge stems from Pharaoh's lust for absolute power, unflinching in ordering the destruction of lives yet to know the world. Somehow, in each hurried breath, each bead of sweat rolling down their brows, these midwives realize their work isn't just birthing, but preserving a nation's soul, light, and hope under oppression. Pharaoh's decree, meant to erase the Hebrew line, unwittingly ignites acts of courage as unyielding as any warriors. While Egyptians then saw infant slaughter as political necessity, Shiphrah, Miriam, and other midwives saw each tender face as a vital piece of the future. They vowed that, even facing death, they'd choose truth and justice. This made them unsung warriors, standing before the mightiest foe to preserve each Hebrew breath. Secret warning signals, plans to hide newborns under straw or in baskets adrift on the Nile, and the midwives' deft coordination create what they call a time of light in darkness. Every thud of hoofbeats at a hut's gate chills their spines, but those breathless moments fuel fiercer resolve. When word spreads that a boy across the river was seized by Pharaoh's men, the air shifts from fear to determination. They know a single misstep could doom all they strive to save. Yet faith in divine justice and a thirst to secure their people's future drive them forward, though their steps are heavy. A lesser-known facet is the silent bond among the community's women. Meaningful glances, hands brushing in quiet strings. This unspoken unity forms a formidable force, enough to defeat a mighty oppressor. Stories whispered in the dark, of a child saved among river reeds, of hands slipping through leaves to catch a dying lamp's light, build a legend that even in utter despair, divine justice never falters, and anyone can be a beacon for others. The midwives' journey in this early conflict paints a vivid clash between good and evil, between the urge to protect life and arrogant power ready to crush obstacles. They don't just save lives, they write a story history never fully records. That in any era, the human instinct to preserve life triumphs over those who'd steal it. For today's American audience, this tale reminds us that facing moral choices, we can champion fairness and humanity, no matter how great the opposing force. These nameless midwives, with faith and courage, prove a single spark can dispel darkness, and no injustice, however brutal, can extinguish hope's flame in the human heart. Under the pitch-black sky of night, when stars flicker faintly in the endless desert expanse, the midwives become silent warriors, slipping through shadows to protect fragile lives. In the months that follow, the Nile's fertile banks, once serene with rich silt, turn suffocatingly tense. Hebrew mothers, already worn by slavery, under the taskmaster's relentless whips, now agonize over their sons' fates. Each infant's cry rises like a frail plea in the darkness, beckoning a miracle. From this murky gloom, Shiphrah, her resolute bearing and eyes sharp as knives, rises to kindle hope's flame, forging a secret lifeline to preserve tiny lives against Pharaoh's brutal decree. Shiphrah, an ordinary midwife, leverages every village bond to build a safe network for pregnant women. She teams with Puah, young with a gentle smile and steadfast heart, and other unsung women history never names. They divide duties. Some keep watch outside. Others prepare meager medical tools in back rooms, while others log details to ensure no mistake haunts the next rescue. Their network has no grand title, just quiet footsteps threading through the slums' alleys. No detailed map, only simple symbols scratched on walls, scrawled on rag scraps, or passed through trusting glances. This tight organization becomes a beacon for hundreds of families. They don't just aid pregnancies, but plan escapes, spiriting expectant mothers to safe havens far from the Nile's reed marshes or deep in upstream fern thickets. Hideouts resembling jagged natural caves serve as perfect shelters. On rough floors thick with sand and dry straw, newborn boys are nestled into woven reed baskets, set adrift on the river in hopes its merciful current evades Pharaoh's soldiers. There, Shiphrah patiently teaches mothers to craft discreet baskets, leaving no suspicious trace, and to tuck tiny water containers to keep infants warm in the cold night. Holding a newborn, its delicate skin fresh to the world, and placing it in a kibbutz-lined basket, a riverside plant used for weaving, feels like the holiest moment where Shiphrah grasps the worth of every second, every breath. One night, dense fog cloaks the river, barely lit by a pale moon. Shiphrah is delivering a child amid a reed thicket when the newborn's cry pierces the night. Suddenly, Pharaoh's soldiers' hoofbeats thunder closer, hunting any surviving boys. In that stifling air, Shiphrah's heart seems to stop, her veins icing over. As the soldiers' boots clatter on crumbling stones, she begins a sweet lullaby, its melody weaving a mystical veil that drowns the infant's wail. Her song blends with the rustling reed tops, calming every racing pulse. As the soldiers' shadows pass, Shiphrah holds her stance, lips tight with peak anxiety, never leaving the child's tiny face. They move on, leaving a thin smoke trail, and the mother, eyes glistening with joyful tears, clutches Shiphrah tightly, as if entrusting all faith to her hands. For in that moment, "God sent you" is no mere whisper, but a miracle in flesh. Puah, young yet iron-willed, hones herself through each trial. Initially, sudden knocks from soldiers left her too rattled to stay composed, but each covert delivery teaches her to control her breath and heart's low hum. She recalls her sole face-off with Pharaoh's overseer, looming behind a bamboo fence, his eyes skeptical. When he demanded, why haven't you obeyed Pharaoh's command?" Puah calmly replied that Hebrew women birth too swiftly for midwives to arrive in time. That lie, though brazen, saved dozens of lives. In that instant, she realized wisdom sometimes demands a stark falsehood, but if it shields innocent seedlings, it's worth it. That moment taught Puah that protecting children isn't just medical duty, but a mission to shift destinies. Miriam, another unnamed woman, once had a strange dream. In fitful sleep, she saw the Nile aglow like shattered stars on water. That light spoke of God's grace and mercy. Inspired, Miriam uses the Nile's slick reeds to weave cunning baskets, hiding newborns without detection. Lined with thin flax cloth, they retain warmth and mute infant scents. Though placing babies inside carries the faint tangs of reeds and straw, Miriam trusts her meticulous craft will fool pursuers. She spends hours by the river, weaving baskets with patterns mimicking waves in moonlight, turning them into symbols of maternal love and faith in a brighter future. The unnamed midwives, collective, unsung by history, are stars twinkling in Egypt's dark night. They toil tirelessly, heedless of the fear of discovery. They take shifts, some standing guard, tracking every shadow step, even masking small acts like reaching for a perfume vial to blend warm frankincense, dulling blood sent to evade detection. Each tiny stitch mends a wound, each mother's steady breath, and the night breezes murmur through a trapdoor become part of a symphony sustaining their secret. Their brilliance isn't just in saving lives. Each infant tucked safely under straw or in a woven basket opens a new door of hope for the community. Mothers no longer merely await death, but believe God acts through the midwives' hands and hearts. Angels not in robes, but in soot-streaked, simple garb. They share tales of saved children, multiplying faith. By flickering candlelight, mothers gather in circles, trading hiding tips, blending anxious tears with fervent hope, forging an invisible bond, surpassing brutal political decrees. As time passes, the number of surviving boys grows daily. Through Shiphrah, Puah, Miriam, and other nameless women's skill and devotion, lives destined to end at first breath endure, entering a world of hardship yet brimming with hope. Secret shelters grow more sophisticated, warning signals refined to dodge suspicion. Each divine nudge brings smiles, mapping hope onto waiting mothers' faces. Some nights, Pua sits by the river, hearing waves lap softly, wondering if these tiny children will grow in peace, hearing tales of the brave women who shielded them. The answer glimmers in the radiant eyes of mothers cradling their sons beyond danger's reach. Their actions don't just save individuals, but ignite a blazing hope in the Hebrew community. Families once cowering and hiding now find faith in a brighter future. News of a neighbor's ways safely conceals sparks, cheers, shemiz, and joyful tears rippling through. Elders, weary from life's toll, sense divine justice in each child's bright eyes. They pray for these midwives, believing God's unseen hand guides them through every trial. The story of Shiphrah, Pua, Miriam, and their unnamed allies isn't just local legend. It reminds us, today's American audience, that anyone, even in the humblest role, can be a hero. They teach that a small, courageous act can transform a generation. In our modern world, facing choices between right and wrong, conflict and peace, recall Shiphrah's sweet lullaby, Pua's cunning lie, or Miriam's woven baskets, proof of humanity's vast power. They needed no glory or carved stones, yet their example endures like a torch for those ready to fight for justice. Through their tireless work, the Hebrew village rekindles faith. Mothers no longer flinch at the watchman's drums, knowing hands wait to protect their children. Those boys from secret havens grow with dreams of a freer future, unmarred by prejudice or exploitation. Each child's clear gaze testifies to the midwife's relentless efforts, a reminder that divine justice prevails. Returning to their small huts, exhausted but joyful, Shiphrah, Pua, Miriam, and their unnamed comrades feel not just the warmth of success, but see a nation reborn, rising through love and courage. This phase's actions and growth vividly prove the power of courage and unity. These midwives don't just preserve life's sanctity, they spark hope for an entire community. For American viewers, this story carries a clear message. Facing injustice, a single brave act can ignite a movement, shaping a generation's destiny. As the first dusk shadows fade over Egypt's desert, the air in the palace grows stiflingly oppressive. The grand marble halls, once echoing with powerful strides, now feel heavier, more somber. Armored guards, swords at their sides, stand at the entrance, their cold, blade-like gazes sealing off the vast corridor from the high court where Pharaoh reigns. In the ornate great chamber, vibrant frescoes of Egypt's triumphs and civilization adorn the walls, woven in dazzling hues. But under the flickering torchlight, their glory dims, overshadowed by the stark cruelty of unchecked power. Amid this grim atmosphere, two midwives, Shiphrah and Pua, enter with heavy hearts, accustomed to humble Nile-side reed huts, where twilight smoke rises from millet porridge fires. They now face the throne of an empire's ruler, a world alien and daunting. The contrast between their worlds heightens their unease, one of humble service to life, the other of vast power ready to crush dissent. Pharaoh sits on his golden throne, etched with serpents, symbolizing protection and supreme authority. Under the torch's wavering glow, sweat beads on his brow, yet his face remains unyielding. The room falls silent as he looks up, his piercing eyes seeming to bore into their souls. The clink of soldiers' swords against armor, makes every gesture, every breath feel leaden. His brutal decree has tormented the Hebrews for months, and now Pharaoh demands to know why infants, meant to perish at birth, still draw vibrant breaths. Shiphrah feels her heart pause in the firelit haze. Memories flood back, faint cries in reed huts amid wheat fields, a mother cradling her newborn son, and the unshakable faith kindled deep within her. Not long ago, she fretted over rumors of sudden inspections by Pharaoh's men, demanding proof of infants' fates. Now, before the throne, Shiphrah knows she faces a pivotal moment. Submit and live with the sin of destroying innocence, or defy and risk her life. But following her conscience and faith is the path she chooses. Pharaoh's harsh gaze, sharp as a drawn blade, fixes on Shiphrah. No question spoken, yet brimming with menace. She stands firm, her worn sandals trembling slightly, but her spirit stronger than ever. She doesn't reply with words. Every fiber of her being pulses with faith that divine justice stands beside her. Under the dancing torchlight, Shiphrah exhales softly, steadying her resolve against power's weight. She recalls a pregnant woman gently holding her son, trusting he'd one day lead their people from slavery. That image is her defiant answer to all doubts, all questions. Pharaoh remains silent briefly, as if intensifying the room's tension. Then, leaning forward, he asks in a mocking, icy tone, "Why have you not fully obeyed my decree?" Though Shiphrah doesn't answer directly, her eyes blaze with wisdom. She straightens, no trace of timidity on her face, weathered by sleepless nights. The palace seems to converge on this moment. Each of her breaths weighed between life and death. Suddenly, as if time freezes, a strange breeze sweeps through, making the torches on the pillars flicker, their shadows dancing like spectral souls. All sound vanishes, save the wind's eerie hum through the door's cracks, a mystical sign heralding something miraculous. Pua, beside her, feels her heart surge, prepared for any scenario, from a lead to save a child to dodging a suspicious glance. She finds facing Pharaoh suffocating. But as the odd breeze rises, she believes it's proof of her early prayers. A divine power never abandons those who protect life. Pharaoh, his lips twitching with irritation, finds no clear reason to condemn them. As if by unspoken verdict, he reluctantly eases his command, allowing Shiphrah and Pua to leave the palace amid the soldiers' stunned silence. Yet the trials don't end. As Shiphrah and Pua exit the throne area, night falls, the palace aglow with thousands of torches, both vivid and hushed. They're dazed, having survived their gravest peril, but joy is cut short by dire news. Miriam, an unnamed midwife who blended into the crowd like a forgotten leaf, was caught by Pharaoh's men hiding a newborn. It happened in the dead of night, when the Nile's low waters exposed muddy banks, revealing footprints to her hiding spot. Miriam, carefully placing the infant in a woven basket, had no time to react. Soldiers surged, encircling her with armored menace. In that moment, danger loomed, not just her execution, but a threat to the midwives' covert network. Miriam's heart pounds like war drums, each breath catching, knowing a single word could bring a blade's swift end. But before the soldiers can judge, a miraculous scene unfolds. A Hebrew mother hurries from the distance, eyes red but resolute. She doesn't flee. Instead, shielding the wind, she faces the spearmen and declares firmly, "This child is my daughter." No one speaks, but her single glance works a miracle. The soldiers hesitate, their eyes wavering. They cannot dismiss her claim, though logic protests, for a mother's bond is sacred. Denying her, casting the child to death, would shake the Hebrews' faith that divine justice persists in the darkest hours. In that instant, Miriam exhales as the mother clutches the child, her grateful gaze a boundless thank you. Fear for her own life fades. Miriam is awestruck that in the blackest night, hope's light can flare when people sacrifice to protect life. This event sparks a powerful ripple through the community. Parents flock to Shiphrah, Puah, and Miriam not just to thank them, but to fuel hope that their children's fates aren't forsaken. In every heart, the Hebrew mother's daring defense of a child, though cloaked in a lie, becomes a symbol of maternal might and unity. They silently resolve not to let Pharaoh's decree bury their lineage's future. Each breeze through the huts that day whispers that, with warm hearts, no force can extinguish hope's last embers. The midwife's courage doesn't stop at saving infants. It ignites a spreading flame across the community. Villages buzz in Nile-side evenings as mothers recount the miracles of brave women. They avoid naming Shiphrah or Puah, fearing careless soldiers' notes, but the tales spread through trusting, radiant eyes and boundless admiration. Threads of faith are woven in minds, turning each reed hut, each brick courtyard into a nexus of promise that divine justice, however tested, cannot be buried. Rumors of surviving children, including one special boy, reach neighboring communities. They claim this child, shielded in his earliest days by courageous hearts, will lead the Hebrews to freedom. Villagers hold their breath, tracking news, yearning for hope amid life and death stakes. In every soul, divine justice shifts from abstract to vivid, as real as their breath. For when a mother claims another's child, defying Pharaoh's blade, they touch an unshakable sacredness. As tension peaks, Shiphrah, Puah, and Miriam's fates align. They return to their village with slow, proud steps, hearts alight with joy. The dusty paths, long gray with despair, now shimmer with fervent hope. Villagers gather at crossroads, quietly saluting the midwives as unsung heroes, their tearful eyes brimming with faith that, above all oppression, freedom and justice will find those who keep hope's flame alive. The saved children, though facing hard lives, gain the most precious gift, their first breaths unstrangled by blood-stained power. Anxious mothers now watch their sons grow safely, learning to hone inner strength to preserve a legacy of freedom and prosperity. Among them, a boy named Moses, later to lead the righteous from Egyptian bondage, is hoped to be their guiding banner. The story's climax isn't just life's redemption. It unveils a profound truth. Small, brave acts can anchor faith for a community. The Hebrew mother's sacrifice, the midwife's resolve. Lay bricks for a new generation where all knows supreme power cannot forever rule over united spirits and the will to preserve life. For today's American audience, living in a free democracy, this tale underscores that, amid injustice or oppression, courageous hearts and wise acts are vital. The midwife's journey, Navigating a tyrant's chaos to protect fragile lives shows no one is too small to be a hero. When we unite upholding human values, no darkness, however deep, can block hope's faint glow. As the midwives return, children's laughter mingles with palm leaves rustled by the Nile. They gaze at vast wheat fields, fragrant with harvest straw, as if earth and sky smile at liberation. In radiant dawn, divine justice glimmers in every glance, every step on rough stone paths. Will these saved children grow to lead their people from slavery? The Hebrews' fierce trust answers, when people rise to protect life, nothing is impossible. And that truth will echo through history's flow. As the first rays of dawn break over the Nile's tranquil waters, the landscape dons a new mantle, glowing with hope after a long, somber night. The last chill of darkness fades, yielding to gentle warmth seeping through palm fronds along the banks. In that moment, the midwives, unsung heroines who braved countless perils, slip into their simple robes, resuming their life-saving work as if untouched by their harshest trials. Though memories of Pharaoh's soldiers and his genocidal decree once haunted them, now in the fresh morning light, they carry a rare peace. For the newborns they shielded are safe, and a generation of hope endures. Shiphrah, the woman who faced a throne to protect tiny lives, quietly packs away crude medical tools, gazing at the sky ablaze with pink and orange. She feels the warmth of dew on grass blades, as if all fear has scattered with the sunlight. Beside her, Pua smooths her sweat-damp hair, her eyes sparkling with joy for the tender hearts still beating with love. The world beyond may still churn with turmoil, but in this moment, they dwell in the firm belief that God's grace has granted them strength to conquer darkness. Other nameless women, once hidden to guard secrets in the night, now emerge with newfound confidence. Miriam, who once staked her fate against Pharaoh's soldiers, breathes the morning breeze, smiling contentedly as she recalls the child she saved. The image of the Hebrew mother who boldly claimed a boy as her daughter to rescue Miriam still echoes in her mind, a living testament to compassion and maternal might. No one earns worldly glory, no one's name graces grand chronicles, but each receives grace from faith's depths. Through courage and sacrifice, they've brought redemption to hundreds of lives. The story's heart is the hope they sow. Mothers fresh from childbirth entrust their infants to the midwives, swaddling them in soft flax cloth, preparing for a long future ahead. Joyful tears glisten on the weathered cheeks of parents, no longer braced for their children's doom. Fear of death sentences gives way to steadfast faith that these children, especially the boys, including Moses, will grow to lead their people from slavery. Villages, long hushed by despair, now pulse with renewed vigor as families lift their heads proudly, believing they share in a mission to preserve life. Roosters' vibrant crows rouse the small garden where reed huts nestle behind bamboo groves. Villagers disperse, cradling woven reed baskets brimming with hope. They carry children to hidden groves where lush palm canopies provide shade for teaching and shelter. Readying for the long journey ahead, the air hums with faith in a different future, one where children's laughter will echo across fields, not whips and chains. In every mind, the names of Shiphrah, Pua, Miriam, and countless unnamed midwives are no longer strangers. but icons of courage, unconditional love, and undying hope. This untold story of biblical women proves that courage and faith can reshape history. Facing immense power, they didn't bow to cruel commands, but braved every danger to protect life. Through each act, from cunningly deceiving soldiers with plausible lies to weaving baskets and coordinating in darkness, these midwives lit hope's flame amid rampant injustice. They teach us that even when all seems lost, one steadfast act can alter a community's destiny. Now, as dawn fully rises, the midwives continue their work. But joy no longer mingles with fear. Instead, they feel the boundless power of maternal love and deep faith that the saved children will grow, carrying forward the mission to free their lineage. In their hearts, they know divine justice never falters and always finds those who stand for what's right. This story isn't just a reminder of the past, but a torch guiding today's generation. In any circumstance, holding fast to conscience and faith will reveal light in darkness. To our American audience, facing your own challenges, let Shifra, Pua, and the nameless midwives inspire you. In our modern world, when choosing between right and yielding to pressure, remember that every act, however small, can make a difference. Love and courage awaken faith in us all, helping us overcome barriers. Let wisdom and grace guide your steps, so each choice not only protects you, but kindles hope for those around you. Thank you, American viewers, for joining us to uncover this untold story. If the journey of these heroic midwives moves you, don't hesitate to subscribe. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and spread this profound tale to friends and family. We believe everyone can find their spark of courage to brighten the world. May you receive heaven's blessings, guiding each step with hope and love. Next time, we'll share another courageous woman's story from the Bible, one sure to stir your heart. See you soon.